This is Barry Heads with Sharp Counsel. Thanks for tuning in today. It's a beautiful day. I hope you're well. This week we're in our sexual downfall series, the sexual downfall series. And the sharp snippet for today will deal with, or we'll call it connection with the higher power. All right. So let's just jump right in. Connection with a higher power is important because it deals with our self discipline, and our self discipline is so important. All right. And self discipline starts small, it always starts small. I'll give you an example. I'll start with what some of us have an issue with, or maybe all of us to some degree, is what we put in our mouth. So our eating habits. Let's talk about that for a second. Um, During my 20s, I say my mid to late 20s, I started really getting, I'd say, more invested in my eating habits because, as we get in our late 20s, 30s, and so on, as we age, our metabolism changes, our body changes. So eating becomes not only important for our nutrition and our energy, but also for how we look, our self-esteem. It deals with our self-discipline. So as I got into my late 20s, an occurrence happened. So I started to change my diet to drinking more water. I started to change my breakfast eating habits. So I'd eat vegetables and fruits and salads and drink plenty of water in the morning. So as the weeks went by, the months went by, um, what I noticed was as I started to eat better and better, when I went down I say the candy aisle or the snack aisle or chip aisle in the grocery store, I wouldn't gather as many things as I used to before I consciously changed my eating habits. And then one day, I remember going or looking down the chip aisle, getting to the aisle, looking down the aisle, and I just had no desire to go down the aisle. I remember looking at the bags of chips and I had no desire to eat any of the chips or buy any of the chips. So I just kept on going down the lane. And what I noticed in that moment was that my consciousness had changed and my body had changed. I didn't feel that inner urge or desire to grab a bag of chips. Now, since then, as I've aged, I've I grab a bag of chips from time to time, but I don't grab two or three bags of chips. I don't grab a bag of chips and go down the snack aisle and the candy aisle. No, I don't do that anymore. There's no need. There's no desire. So what I'm saying is self-discipline starts small, typically in all areas of our life. And in major areas of our life, if we want to prosper and continue to prosper in the long run, there's definitely a need for sexual discipline. A lack of sexual self discipline leads to downfall in so many different areas of our life, from our uh, partners, our intimate relationships, to our family and friendships, to our work life, whether you're in a business, a nonprofit, et cetera, et cetera. The lack of self-discipline also leads to downfall or chaos in a country. For example, we'll go over that later in the series, in the sexual downfall series. But I think we've all seen how presidents have caused countries to go into chaos because of their lack of self-discipline. So the central way to avoid the pitfalls of promiscuity, if that's your choice, because it's always a choice, but the central way to avoid the pitfalls of promiscuity is the desire for connection and growth with a higher power. That essentially leads to self-discipline sexually. If that's something you want to go after, if that's something you want to pursue, if that's a desire you have, you need that central desire. It's a lifelong journey, but it has increasing benefits as we age and mature. So, if you discipline yourself sexually, which can be extremely difficult at times for men and women, but if you discipline yourself sexually, whether you're single or you're married, that will trickle over into your life and work. You meet a man or woman who has an undisciplined sex life, and you meet someone who will be in ruin, whether that's physical ruin with STDs, STIs, etc., financial ruin, or they'll be empty inside. They'll be a hollow, what we can call a hollow human being in the long run. So You meet a man or woman, let me know, with an undisciplined sex life, and we'll look at that person's life over the long term. They'll either be in financial ruin, health, ruining their health. They'll be empty or hollow on the inside in the long run. So I say that as a warning. I say that as um, a moment of help for all of us, myself included, to live that disciplined sex life. And that all starts for a connection or a desire to connect with our higher power. I hope this helps. This is Barry Heads with Sharp Counsel. Take care.